What's up YouTube, Robert here from Team Pop Tobacco, and Thijs is going to show us his Light Hero beat deck. Okay?
Okay, well hello YouTube. I'm gonna be showing my Light Hero beat deck which won me the last tournament in Groningen. Basically after the banning of Stratos I almost gave up hope that this deck would actually be playable, but it did pretty well, so yeah, I'm gonna be showing you how this deck works. Basically, first off, triple Neos Alius. Don't have to tell you anything about that, it's basic standard. After that, one Crusader of Endymion, just for extra Gemini Spark targets, and also of course it's a light monster, so you can make well, any Xyz monster with level 4, but also Alius Paladinamo and Constellar Omega. Next, two Photon Thrashers. As I said, Alius Paladinamo and Constellar Omega are two Xyz monsters which are an extra force to be reckoned with in this deck, and Photon Thrasher makes it easier for them to summon. Also, in most matchups it's a really easy monster to just play and attack with, and after that just go with your play as you want to do. Yeah, basically it creates all kinds of outs. It's a light, it's a warrior, it can make any card in Xyz in your extra deck, no problem. Okay, after that, two Bubblemans. There are a lot of Light Hero beat builds that are running no Bubblemans and just the three Neos Alius. There's two problems with that. First off, they're playing Photon Thrasher and Gawains. Gawain is just dead most of the time when you don't have Neos Alius or any other Gemini monster, and it just becomes a vanilla 1900 beater, not the extra monster you can special summon and Xyz summon with. Second, with only 3 hero targets in your entire deck, your e-calls and your it's going to be dead a lot of the times. And well, there's even a third reason. The best Miracle Fusion you can play is Neos Alius and Bubbleman. So it's in there. It's a bit risky to play all your back row and special summon Bubbleman, but most of the time it's just worth it. And the fact that Abyss Dweller becomes 2200 with it is just the cherry on top of the pie. Okay, well, we're playing Light Hero beat, so of course we're going to be playing the Thunder King Rai-Oh. It's just too good. Just make sure you play your e-calls, your rotos, your portal dualities beforehand and not after, because you'll be looking like an idiot. Well, Honest is just too good in your deck. 80% of the time you're going to be having a light monster, and yeah, especially Chris of Team Pop back row hates this card, so that's why you play it. Last monster is Blackwing Zephyros the Elite. You're playing quite some continuous traps in this deck, and also this card works great with Bubbleman. You special Bubbleman, you return Bubbleman to your hand to special summon Zephyros from your graveyard, and then you special Bubbleman again because he's the last card in your hand again. And also you can recycle your Fiendish Chain, so you call the Hunter with it. It's great, but I must say it's not really been running that well for me in this deck. Basically it becomes a dead card earlier on, and you need to have something to bounce back with it, and your Fiendish Chain or your Call of the Hunters need to be not dead and not in the graveyard. So it's a bit tricky to play, but if it works, it's just, yeah, it's amazing. Okay, onto the spells. Triple E-Call. Well, I'm not gonna be. That's just triple E-Call.
Pretty basic.
Yeah, pretty basic. You run that. After that, one reinforcement of the army.
Same as E-Call.
Yeah. And well, the main card of this deck, which you're gonna be using a lot, is the triple Gemini Spark. It's just amazing. It doesn't even matter what you target with it. You're just gonna disrupt your opponent's play, and most of the times they'll set one card after that, and they'll be ending their turn. It's that easy. If you know which card you need to hit, it can be the end of the turn after that. And you can also draw a card. So instead of Icarus Attack, who needs 2 targets, you pop one of your opponents and you get one on your own. It's just an amazing card. You play it. Okay, well, I played triple Duality. It's a bit tricky to run 3 because most of the times, you're going to be losing your special summon, which is, yeah, sometimes it's a bit tricky. And most of the times you're gonna get one duality out of your duality picks. With that said, there's a lot of combo plays in this deck It's especially the Neos Alius and the Gemini Sparks, you just need them to get them together. Also the Hero Blasts, I'll get to that later, you need to have those while you have your Neos Alius in the grave. So there's a lot of combo plays, and Pot of Duality just is necessary for that. So for now I'm running 3, I'm considering running 2, but at least 2, not any less. Okay, well, pretty basic for a hero deck, triple Miracle Fusion. You make Shining most of the time, 0 when it's appropriate. If the opponent has a lot of monsters or just too strong for you, you're gonna make 0. But basically, it's a power card. Only use it when you really have to, or when you're going for game. Don't drop that thing turn 2. It's just gonna get banished, compulsed, etc. You need to get your Shining effect out. Just remember that. Okay, well, Heavy Storm is gone, but you need that anti-back row, so triple Mystical Space Typhoon. I'm not running any Lances, because most of the times I'd use them on my Shining, and my Shining would be too weak afterwards, and it would just get destroyed in battle. That's not bad per se, but you might want to hit the back row before you actually run into it. So it's just better that way. And also all the continuous spells like Black Whirlwind, Fire Formation Tanky, you can just... Forbidden Lance is useless against those things, but not Mystical Space Typhoons. Oh, and don't forget about the Ravines and the Towers. I've never hit so many Ravines and Towers as in
Abyss Sphere.
Abyss Sphere is also a good target. Just keep it in hand. Don't set it against Mermills. Don't you do it. Okay, well, pretty basic afterwards. 1 Dark Hole, 1 Book of Moon. Basic, and I'm still trying to run it, the 1 Super Polymerization, but I must say it's a hefty cost right now, because you can't get back the cards with the starter if you don't have. So, but it's still the ultimate out against anything your opponent has, and especially against water monsters. If you can make the 0, it's just extra, because not only did you take your monster, but they're looking at a Rai-Oh in their own turn. So that's just amazing. I'm running 1, but make sure you don't lose all your cards, because then you're dead. Okay, onto the traps. Well, pretty basic. You're gonna be running the ones you're allowed. 1 Solemn Warning, 1 Compulse, 1 Torrential, 1 Bottomless. Well, basically this is gonna be a bit of a surprise, but I'm running dual Hero Blast. Before Stratos was hit, Hero Blast wasn't even on 1 in my deck, because it's too risky. You need Neos Alius in the grave. But because of all the other trap cards that got limited, you're gonna be looking for traps which you can activate at any time during your opponent's turn. Traps like Dimensional Prison and Mirror Forge, which need you to wait until the opponent actually does attack, are most of the times are just going to be too slow. So, name of the game is traps that are responsive. And Hero Blast, if it works, is an amazing +1, and it disrupts your opponent's play yet again. So, I was a bit hesitant to try 2 at first, but I must say they've been running great. They're the MVP of the deck by far until now. So, just make sure you get the Gemini Sparks beforehand. And, well, I must say, getting 2 in the opening's hand or getting 1 in the opening's hand is a bit bad, so get that Neos Alius in the grave as soon as possible. Okay, I'm running 3 Fiendish Chains. This is a bit hard, there was a hard pick, because I still need the traps which you can activate in an opponent's turn at any time. Fiendish Chain is such a trap. And the basic bonus of Fiendish Chain is that the opponent's monster also can't attack. And when you only have 1900 beater most of the time, that's actually a bit necessary. Because even if you can interrupt your opponent's plays, they might be able to get something which is stronger than that. So Fiendish Chain can stop the attack despite any effect it have. But the problem with Fiendish Chain is it's very vulnerable to Mystical Space Typhoon, which has been running in 3s a lot lately. So I'm considering, well, at least a little less Fiendish Chain, just instead of, well, maybe Breakthrough Skill that can be stopped by MST and can also be used in the grave. But right now it's a very solid play, and it also works great with your Zephyros. to get it back. So for now, until the time that maybe other responsive traps will be here in the game, I'm running 3 Fiendish Chains. Well, last card of the deck is called the Haunted. It's a bit tricky to play this one because you don't really have any good targets to get back with Call of the Haunted, especially when your opponent uses Mystical Space Typhoon on you. You can't chain it to get an effect like Linda or Shang, you know, but whatever. But it makes it possible to get more Xyz plays out of your deck. It also makes it possible to reuse, let's say for example you have multiple Gemini Sparks on hand but you only have one Neos Alius. I'm going to tell you that's going to happen to you a lot. Then the call is just very welcome, and the most awesome play you can do with this is just to chain it on a reinforcement of the army, a spellbook of secrets, just something that can search and get back your Rai-Oh. Effect fizzles and well, your opponent is down a card. So yeah, you're not going to be running more than one, and you need to be careful how and when you play it, but if you do, it's going to work in your advantage. So that's the main deck. Onwards to the extra deck. I'm running 2 Shining, pretty basic. 3 is just too much, you're not going to be summoning it more than twice a duel. And it's just, this is 90% of the time, this is your Miracle Fusion target. Okay, right now I'm running 2 Absolute Zero. Absolute Zero, especially with Bubbleman, is just the other option when the Shining is just not cutting it for you, or your opponent is just banishing and returning too much of your cards. Then Absolute Zero is especially the right choice then, especially against Mermils, by the way. Robert will know. But with that said, I've never summoned it more than once a duel, so the fact that I'm running 2 white and running through 2 right now is a little bit too much. I advise changing it to just 1 in your extra deck. After that, I'm running all the other Omni heroes just for the single polymerization you're going to be making. But also, Great Tornado can be made with, for example, if you have a Blade and Armor Ninja in the graveyard, you can use it for the wind. Now, Escuridao can be made with any. Basically, you can always make them. I've actually made a couple of games with Great Tornado, but most of the times you're just going to be summoning them through Super Polymerization. It might be a little bit too much extra deck space, just 4 cards for 1 card. But I don't want to be running into any monster which I can't use Super Polymerization on if you have it set. So I'm just running all of them. And, well, be honest, they're fucking cool. So you play. Okay, so those were the fusions. After that, you play the single Excalibur. You're not going to be OTKing a lot in this deck. Maybe that's what you know when you play Hero Beat. But after the banning of Stratos, you can't just afford to just play all your cards and go for the OTK, because most of the times it isn't going to work and you're not going to get your advantage back. So with that said, it's still an easy 4000 beater, which can get over one of the more tricky monsters in the game. And you can still use it to make game. It's a very basic play to just go Neos Alius, Bubbleman to Excalibur, detach both, and then use Miracle Fusion for easy 2700 damage. And if your Shining gets destroyed, you get your monsters back and you make Cowboy for game. So OTKing is still possible, but you're not going to be doing it a lot. Well, the 1 Blade Armor Ninja. The Blade Armor Ninja is the other side of the coin when you play Excalibur. You can go for game, but you can also go for multiple attacks. Slacker Magician, for example, against it is just too good. But yeah, you just play the 1. As I said, you're not going to be OTKing a lot, so that's it. I played the 1 Maestroke. I must say it's not getting summoned a lot. But after against a few decks like Battling Boxers and Infernity also as well, it's just a good card to drop, and sometimes you'll use it, but well, you have it in there, but you need more monsters which you can actually detach with the moment you summon them. So use wisely, not all the time. Abyss Dweller. Well, Abyss Dweller is actually one of the MVPs in the deck. You can make it against all kinds of effect monsters which activate in the graveyard and just ram into them, detaching beforehand, and they won't get any effects. And also against dragons and mermaids is just one of the smartest things to make against them. And as I said before, with the extra Bubbleman becomes 500 attack more, and it basically becomes unkillable if you know how to control your opponents. So yeah, good card. Well, the one cowboy. Those of you who played Hero Beat know all about this card. It's the one 800 attack jab to finish the game. But in very difficult situations, if you already used your Excalibur, then it could be a one beater to getting over your heavy monsters. It'll tie with Black Luster Soul Gem from the beginning, but anything under that, it'll just outright kill. And I've used them a couple of times against them. So it's a very versatile card, and you're gonna be summoning a lot as well. Okay, and then the reason you're playing Light Hero Beat is one, Constellar Omega. If you're playing against a deck with a lot of back row, and you special summon your Photon Thrasher, and after that you normal summon your Neos Alius, just look them in the eye. And if they don't activate anything at that time, because you can see the glint in their eyes, you know you're gonna see something. I have this trap ready, I'm gonna destroy that fucker. And if you summon Omega, the look in their eyes is priceless, because they know they can't do anything against it.
Except Warning.
Yeah, except Warning, okay, but if they have Warning, you're fucked anyway. So. Basically, I've made this a couple of times with the opponent who had a lot of back row and they didn't expect it, and after that, you just got him. Because Constellar Omega isn't leaving the field anytime soon, so you can just destroy the monsters after that. I'm having a lot of fun with this card. It's great, and yeah, this is one of the reasons why Light Hero Beat is still alive in this format. And lastly, just the one Starlix Paladinamo. It's an out. It's as simple as that. If you can make it and you can just get rid of one of your opponent's monsters, it's great. And after that, if you destroy it, you still get the one card. So it's basically, if everything goes well, it's a one card out against anything. You don't make it a lot, but when you do, it's that important. So you just play the one. Okay, that was the extra deck. Onto the side deck, which I was using for the tournament. It might change a lot, but well, I'll just show you. Dual DD Warrior Lady against mirror matches especially, but also against dragons, which Exceed Summon, Dracosac. There are a lot of monsters which you can't destroy, and basically destroying is all this deck does. And then you need the DD Warrior Lady, and well, so that's why it's in the side deck. You can also search it with Reinforcement of the Army, of course, so it works great in this deck. And even if it doesn't get banished, it's just another target for the Shining, so it works great. Onwards to my budget side deck choice. Prohibition. You can call anything with this, but you need to play it smart. I haven't been playing it smart at all. Just check the matches on the channel. I've called many spellbook cards with this. But, spoiler alert, the correct card to call is Spellbook of Secrets. But basically you can call anything and it won't be played by your opponent. If you play it at the right time, or if you know what their player has on hand, or you know what the ultimate out is against the player you're having at that time, you can play this and you're done. But with that said, it is a bit of a budget choice, because it can't, most of the times it just won't stop your opponent from just getting shut down. And that's what you really want with the side deck. So let me know what you think, because I'd like to change the side deck more around. If you have any ideas, just post them in the comments. I played the one extra Super Polymerization. If there's a deck that's working to lock you down with Natura Beast and Natura Barkion, or you're just playing against a Hero Mirror match, in Hero Mirror match this card is freaking awesome. Okay, you have two heroes, well, fuse them together to make my monster. God damn it, that's fair. Okay, but as I said, against Infernity also, if they're gonna try to lock you down, this card is also amazing. So if you're running into that situation, you're gonna be playing two Super Polymerization, fuck advantage. You just want to get through that, and then most of the time they're done as well. So that's why I play it. The one-dimensional fissure that you're allowed. I'm not going to run Macrocosmos because that works. Doesn't work. It works too hard against my deck as well. But dimensional fissure I can play around, and this together with the card that's coming next, actually basically won me a lot of games in the tournament. Shut down any graveyard-based decks. Shut down dragons. If you can get it quick enough against dragons, you can just out-advantage them, because they'll have a lot of trouble getting their dragons out. And if you can get the Black Rose to stop coming, then you'll just slowly grind them out of advantage. And so, but just make sure you're also making an Xyz play out of there, so you can get 2 monsters of yourselves in the graveyard. Your Hero Blast are live, your Miracle Fusion is live, so it's a bit risky card to play, but if you know how to play it, you can just out-advantage your opponent. Basically, because I can, the Rivalry of Warlords, you're going to be playing warriors most of the time, and if your opponent has a lot of types of monsters, you can just fuck them around. Really, it's just that easy. And especially if your opponent already has a lot of monsters on the field waiting to make their play, if you activate it at the right time, right then, it's just amazing. So that's why I play it, and it's solid side deck choice. There's no discussion available on this card. That's what I'm trying to say. Shadow Imprisoning Mirror. This is basically more for the tournament scene in Groningen itself, because there are a couple of guys are playing Dark World here, there are a couple of guys playing in Sectors here. You could use it against Evil Swarm, but you still won't have the Ophion gone, so it's not going to be effective against them. But in the current meta, I would actually side Light Imprisoning Mirror sooner, if it weren't for the fact that it would also stop my deck entirely. So basically, this is one of the cards where I'd like your comments on. Do you have any suggestions to replace it with? Let me know. Oh, and after Rivalry Warlords, we also have Ghost Match. It's basically the same, but just with your attributes. And you're playing mostly light monsters, so you won't. You're not gonna have a lot of trouble with this, and your opponent will if you play it right. This, with Dimensional Fissure, won me the tournament against Dragon Rulers, and especially, as I said, when you have a lot of monsters on the field and you play Ghost Match, you just -2 them, and that is freaking amazing. Oh my god, that was so awesome. Well, okay, I'll stop. You know why this card is great. Let's stop talking. The one Soul Drain you're allowed. Against Dragon Rulers and Murmurs, it's amazing, and you have no disadvantage from it whatsoever, except for your Shining. So play it wisely, but besides that, it's just too good, and you ought to play it. Last 2 cards, Double Debunk. I was playing Mind Drain and Soul Drain beforehand, but the fact with that is you can't control your opponent with only your graveyard or your hand. And besides that, they're also going to get MST'd a lot. So I was trying this card, and this card is also amazing. It can stop anything your opponent is trying to do in Dragon Rulers, or just with the hand traps. If you're going for the OTK, and you have this in your back row set and ready to go, you've got game. Because it doesn't matter if they have the Gorse, if they have the Trago, you're going to just make it stop. In mirror matches against heroes, it's also amazing because you can stop their Shining, you can stop their Absolute Zero, and just go on ahead. So yeah, I've sided this in a lot of games, and I must say it hasn't disappointed me one bit. So yeah, that's why. Okay, well YouTube, that was my deck. Let me know what you think, and I'll be trying to read your comments and get your suggestions.
Okay, thanks for watching, and like and subscribe for more.